that we're in and get better in every aspect.
Did he get his feet in? Yes! Let's go!
Pollard down the left sideline, all the way to the pylon. Touchdown.
With the win, Washington immediately jumps into a playoff spot.
Welcome to NFL Live, presented by Windows 11 and Intel. A crucial NFC East battle between Dallas and Washington on the menu this week. The Cowboys lead the NFC East, but Washington has won 4 straight. These teams meet 2 times over the next 3 weeks, by the way. A live report from Dallas is moments away, and you see them all right here. We got Dan Orlovsky, Marcus Spears, Keyshawn Johnson, and Adam Schefter with us throughout the next hour. But let's begin in Dallas. And despite the red-hot Washington football team on the schedule this Sunday, the team having lost 3 of their last 5 games, by the way, the Dallas Cowboys still feeling good heading into Sunday's matchup between the top 2 teams in the NFC East. Perhaps, though, no one more confident than head coach Mike McCarthy.
We got to do whatever we got to do to win the game. But these guys are very accountable. The work ethic of our football team, the whole space is very high. They're very accountable. We know what people think of us. We love that. We're comfortable who we are, where we are. But I'm excited about what's in front of us because we're going to win this game. I'm confident in that.
All right, well, simple as that. McCarthy back from the COVID list, ready to go, by the way. Probably had some time to think about what he might say to the media. Ed Werder from the Cowboys facility is joining us now. And Ed, what did the team have to say about McCarthy's comments today?
Yeah, well, Laura, having, as you said, just spent 10 days quarantined in a nearby hotel, Mike McCarthy had abundant time to think about the message that he would deliver in his first news conference here. So his message was definitely calculated, perhaps seeking to raise awareness about the importance of the moment at hand to the Cowboys to essentially close out the NFC East. As for your question, how the players felt about the expectations that McCarthy's rhetoric creates for players who must now make it prophetic, Dak Prescott made clear his support. As I attempted to accurately frame McCarthy's comment and ask his reaction, Prescott, as you'll see momentarily, interrupted quickly and emphatically.
Yeah, I agree. No, it doesn't put us in a bad spot. I mean, obviously, if you're preparing for this game, you're a Dallas Cowboy. If you're a fan, you expect to go in and win each and every game. So I don't think he's said anything different than everyone in this building's thoughts. He just voiced it. So now we've got to make sure that we're accountable of our words. And I think that's all that is a coach setting the tone for the week. And as you said, first day back, making sure that everybody understands where his mind is and where this team's mindset is.
Well, one priority for the Cowboys to establish their running game. McCarthy mentioned its importance to the objective of winning in December and beyond. Ezekiel Elliott enduring the worst 5-game stretch of his career as he plays through a knee injury that he describes as improving, but admits won't be fully healed for another 3 to 4 weeks. And today, Tony Pollard again missed practice with what McCarthy described as a foot sprain. But Laura, Pollard revealed later that he partially tore the plantar fascia in his left foot on his 58-yard touchdown run against the Saints. Said he expects to be a game-time decision Sunday, but McCarthy again said he anticipates both running backs being available.
Oh, man, the run game's so crucial in all games, but maybe specifically this one, and to McCarthy's point down the stretch. Ed, thanks for the latest there. Marcus, real quick, what do you make of the Pollard news there?
Not small at all. And I know there's confidence going through that building and that they're getting guys back healthier. But Tony Pollard is a juice factor for this offense, and let alone offense, also special teams. We saw him return a kick a couple weeks ago as well. So this is by no means a small thing within the Dallas Cowboys facility. They're going to have to figure out a way to manage it, get backs going. Hopefully Zeke is feeling a little bit better where he can tote the note. But this is huge. This is a huge potential loss for the Dallas Cowboys.
Tote the note.
You say tote the note?
Tote the note. That's a new one for me. I hadn't heard that.
I kind of like that.
That's going to be for my Pee Wee coach, Coach Chu.
I'm going to make us some shirts, and we're all going to wear them and say tote the note. All right, so that's where Dallas is at the moment. But let's go to Washington. After a 4-game win streak, Washington currently has a 40% chance to make the playoffs. But Sunday's divisional game versus the Cowboys, huge implications. With a win, Washington's playoff chances would increase to 59%. With a loss, though, it would take them down to 29%. That's A 30-point swing, the largest of any game in Week 14 for those who may struggle with math like me. So, Dan, the offense for Washington has looked good during this win streak. Thanks a lot. What in particular are they doing so well at the moment?
I would say the short passing game. You know, Taylor Heineke has done such a nice job of understanding who he is and getting the ball out of his hands and kind of playing that point guard distributor type of mindset. You know, when he throws the ball under 10 yards, his completion percentage is 78%. That's outrageous. Now, when he throws it over 15 yards, it drops down all the way to 39%. So he's got to do a really good job of that. Now, Dallas defensively has got to do everything they can to get him into those third downs, but take away what we just saw, those scrambles. You know, Dallas defensively is okay on third down. Heineke's been so great on third down. One of the reasons why is because he's used his feet so well. So I want to see how good he does in that short passing game. And then does Dallas defense decide, you know what, we're going to play sticky at the line of scrimmage, up in the face of these wide receivers and kind of dare them to throw the ball downfield. And the last thing I'd say is this. I usually say stay away from Trayvon Diggs because his ball skills. I actually feel good with Terry McLaurin because he's got just as good, if not better, ball skills as Seven.
Interesting.
You better be very careful when you do it. You better be very careful when you do it. But to your point, McLaurin is fire. But this thing is rolling because of the engine, and that's Antonio Gibson and this run game. They've been doing a phenomenal job of staying out of third and long situations and using their run game to set up plays in order for Taylor Heineke to play on time and with time. And look here, man, just a simple cross motion. You get Max Crosby to bump down, create immediate leverage, and now you create a seam and a gap for Antonio Gibson to push through. This is what they're doing. This is phenomenal. This is using a team's leverage against them. Back again, Max Crosby ends up in what we call a 4 technique on the end. He even reaches. The linebackers play to what they saw. This is plays that's back-to-back. You roll Taylor Heineke out, use his athleticism, dump a tight end right behind where those guys are pursuing for the run game. So make no mistake about it. For as good as we've talked about Taylor Heineke and as good as he's been on third down, this Washington football team's run game deserves the credit for the last 4 games in the way that they played, with keeping them on schedule and allowing Taylor Heineke to play ahead of the sticks as opposed to getting them out of bad situations.
Taylor Heineke's done exactly what Ron Rivera wanted to do, guys. He wanted a guy who could control the football game, they could run the ball and play defense. The problem that you may have in this particular situation is the Dallas Cowboys like to create turnovers, especially in the passing game. And Taylor Heineke, he likes to almost give you the football. If you think about the last couple weeks, he's had about 5, 6, 7 balls that should have been intercepted. We talked about Diggs. You said, oh, well, they can challenge him if they want to. If you do, he will catch it. We all know that. So you got to be very, very careful. And the Dallas Cowboys know this. You win this football game, Dallas, you put the Washington football team so far behind you, you can move forward and win the division.
Yeah, I wanted to hit on your tape, Marcus, that tape that you just showed there with, like, the guy at the line of scrimmage crossing and then run away and then obviously crossing and play. Yep. That's exactly how they're going to attack Dallas. It's always been Dallas's weakness at the linebacker level. It's exactly how I expect them, both in the run and their play action game, giving those guys something that going to kind of across their vision at the line of scrimmage.
You know, guys, just another reminder that these two teams see each other twice in the next 3 weeks. We'll find out what you're going to say in the break, and we'll see if we can get it back in next. But we got a whole lot more coming your way on a jam-packed Thursday. There's a Thursday night game tonight. Both teams were in nail-biters last week. The crew has some mixed ideas about how this game plays out between the Steelers and the Vikings. Plus, we'll pick it. And Dan may have some surprising predictions for us with the Josh Allen versus Bucs defense matchup. We'll get into that game and more later on. NFL Live is presented by Windows 11 and Intel. Brings you close to get caught up on. So let's get Adam Schefter back in here with the latest, starting with the Chargers and Mike Williams.
Well, Laura, we know Mike Williams was added to the reserve COVID-19 list yesterday. He was a close contact of Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen, who tested positive for the virus earlier in the week. The Chargers believe that Mike Williams should be, barring any setbacks, back later this week, activated off the reserve COVID-19 list. I think he does wind up playing on Sunday against the New York Giants, despite being on that list right now. As for the Cardinals and their running back, Chase Edmonds, he's been on injured reserve with an ankle injury that he suffered in Week 9, has missed the last 3 games. The Cardinals designated him to return today, which means he could be active on Monday night against the Los Angeles Rams, a boost for the Cardinals offense as they enter their postseason push. And Dalvin Cook will play tonight, despite the fact that he's got that dislocated shoulder and the damaged labrum. If you go back to 2019, he had a very similar injury, played in the playoffs against the New Orleans Saints, and had in that game wearing a harness 32 carries. I think the thinking going into tonight's game is, with Minnesota having to win this game, they want their best player out there. He's going to be out there. He's going to play. And I think the feeling is going in, barring any setbacks, it will be the regular workload for Dalvin Cook. So all those people wondering whether to play Dalvin Cook on their fantasy team going in, the Vikings are playing him. And if they're playing him, then fantasy football players probably should play him. I have Alexander Madison in my lineup. He's going to be on the bench going into tonight's game, Laura, for whatever
Adam,
that's worth.
Too late to change that at this point? You can keep it that way?
No,
Yeah.
he just told us he's good.
Dalvin Cook is good to go tonight. Now, we'll see how much he holds up. That's
Right.
a different question, right? But going in, I think they're planning for him to have a regular workload tonight.
All right, well, Big Ben will also be playing, and let's see him right now as he gets ready to go, arriving there at the stadium in Minneapolis, and they've got the roof closed in there, so he's still got the beanie on, but ready to go either way. By the way, he's probably feeling pretty good after last week, getting the last-second win over the Ravens, being able to make that happen. Let's get a field report brought to you by Windows 11 and Intel. Kimberly Martin is in Minnesota ahead of tonight's game, and Kimberly, 2 teams tonight on the very fragile playoff bubble. Let's start with Minnesota. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that they had to turn things around so quickly from the loss to then winless Detroit?
Well, they're going to make it a good thing. I mean, talk about sense of urgency. You lose to a winless team. Now, basically, Justin Jefferson is like, it's our time to bring pain to other people. We want to unleash our frustration from that loss onto the other team, and obviously that team is the Steelers. Now, there is one positive that came out of it. Sheldon Richardson told me that he's seen more accountability in the building this week. Young guys, veterans, everybody, basically there's a different attitude at practice. Guys are basically they want to be perfectionists now, so that's a good thing. But, you know, you look at the fact that Adam Thielen is out. Now, that means Justin Jefferson is going to see a lot more attention, which he has been seeing of late. I talked to him on the phone this week, and he said, look, teams are playing me differently, but I'm still making plays. So when you come out on the field with that confidence, like I'm that guy, you play like a playmaker, and that's what he is. Now, the Steelers, though, they're going to use their win over the Ravens to springboard their playoff push. They got 5 games. Basically, it's a playoff push. Every game they must win, and Mike Tomlin has made that clear behind closed doors. But the Vikings are the only team on their schedule right now that has a losing record. So it's going to be tough sledding for the Steelers from this point on.
Thanks for the latest there from Kimberly. Appreciate you joining us here. And the Vikings, FPI favorites in this one with a 62% chance to win at home. Let's get some quick reads on tonight's matchup. Key, what do you want to see in just a few hours?
I want to see Ben Roethlisberger lead this team, lead them in a way that he hadn't done in recent weeks. He's a guy who's capable of doing it. They're sitting right now at 6-5-1. This is an opportunity to continue to make some noise and put fear in Baltimore as well as Cincinnati. Until they're mathematically eliminated, he is the guy that should be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I want to watch the Vikings defense not give up so much of what Marcus Spears' favorite drink is, and that's yak.
Yes!
Yards after the catch. Their defense, when guys catch balls on their defense, catch passes on their defense, they don't tackle well, and guys turn short into explosive or they give up big chunks. If they want to win tonight, that's their weakness. They got to do a better job against the strength of Pittsburgh, which is just that, catch and run.
Well, I plan on seeing a lot of whiteouts tonight. 3.5 sacks against the Baltimore Ravens. TJ can absolutely wreck a game. And we know when Kirk Cousins get a few hits or under pressure, he starts thinking the other team is wearing his team jersey. So number 90 is going to be a big factor in this game today, tonight. TJ Watt should be in the MVP conversation. It's an offensive trophy, but number 90 can absolutely take over this game and change the dynamic of it for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's just dropping wattage bombs. And by the way, we don't have
how many
time.
defensive guys does he want in the MVP conversation?
Everybody. He wants the whole thing to be defensive guys.
Well, I want one. I want the one in there that got. I want the one that got 16 sacks and has missed 2 games and still on par to get 24.
Let's take a look at our game picks tonight. That's what it looks like across the board. You see there that Dan is the only one picking Minnesota. The rest of us picking the Steelers. Dan, why?
Because I think that eventually they have to win one of these close games. They got 7 losses by 28 points, and I say eventually they got to win one of those close games that they haven't been able to this year.
The old eventually you're going to win. As a reason to pick
Bless him.
Although you guys should have seen Steve's face when Dan was talking about yak. All right, it's coming up after the break. We got a good one for you, the Dan Wagon. Dan, what do we got this week? Don't give it away, though.
I'm not telling who it is.
It's a very slow gallop.
Yeah, well, it's like the wagon's on a bumpy road.
Up.
We're on a bumpy road. We got to control.
Quarterback.
I'll never get over that visual. All right. You're watching NFL Live, presented by Windows 11 and Intel.
Intel? Mistletoe? This is a pretend mistletoe.
Are you guys going to kiss? So I go kiss him back. No, he won't.
Give me smooches.
Oh, cutie. Put it on his head. Okay. I'll never get over that. Dan, you made history just then. You made history. You've never put a defensive player on the Dan Wagon. Yeah. That is confirmed by our official research department.
He deserved it.
Even Scrooge gives out Christmas gifts.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Did you just call yourself Scrooge? But does Scrooge kiss people under mistletoe via
I'm disappointed,
the TV?
Marcus.
Absolutely ridiculous. I never know what's going to happen on this crazy show. All right. How about this game this week? We got the Bucs and the Bills, and Josh Allen looking to bounce back in a big way. But either way, on the other side, playing quarterback is that guy Tom Brady. Here's what Allen had to say today about Brady.
Yeah, I mean, just obviously how long he's played. He's undeniably the greatest of all time. On top of that, he's a great human being. But in terms of mechanics and how he plays the game, he's been able to win from within the pocket his entire career. He's able to decipher defenses before the snap, and he's able to make quick adjustments right after the snap. He knows where his guys are. He knows his playbook better than anybody else in the building. I mean, I can go on and on of what makes him great.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can't, right? Maybe greatest of all time. Josh Allen going toe-to-toe versus a Buccaneers defense, though, who's implementing zone coverage at the 5th highest rate in the NFL this season. However, it's been far from efficient, guys. The Bucs are 15th in opponent QBR, tied for 20th in pass touchdowns allowed when in zone. So we'll see if Josh Allen can take advantage of it, right? Teams don't play zone against him frequently, and he's 13th in QBR when they do. Key, you expect Josh Allen to bounce back and have a big game on Sunday, specifically as it relates to that usage of zone defense?
You know I do, Laura, because if he doesn't, just like Aaron Rodgers owned the Chicago Bears, Tom Brady will continue to own the Buffalo Bills. But he can have a terrific game. There's no question about it. They're going to mix up coverages against him. You mentioned right there's some zone coverages because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can't play man as much as they would like with a depleted secondary. They also can't do it if the pass rush can't get there. But when you look at Diggs and you look at Knox, some of the things that they do is getting the football into these guys' hands quick, fast, and early, and allowing them to make the run after the catch like Dan mentioned earlier. He has an opportunity. He has to take advantage of it. This is not the snow game that he had last week against the New England Patriots. This is totally different.
Yeah, the more I think about this game, the more I expect them to do exactly what we've asked them kind of to get away from, and that's throw the ball a ton. I think Josh Allen could have upwards of 50 attempts in this game. You mentioned all that zone coverage. The reality for Tampa is they're not great at it. There's so many gashing windows, chunk throws when they decide to play zone coverage this year. They don't pass things off well, zone to zone. And now they've gotten away from it a little bit when it comes to guys getting huge chunks, but then they punch the ball out and it becomes a turnover. These are 20, 25-yard gains. And I think this is a team or a game that Josh Allen and Brian Daboll, their offensive coordinator, is going to sit back and go, we got to win it. The best way for us to win it is to make sure that we throw it a ton. It's who we are. It's what we do best. Tampa's struggling with it. And I'd also say this, Tampa defensively, Specifically last week against Atlanta, they tackled very poorly on the second and third level, their linebackers and safeties. I understand that we want them to throw the ball or run the ball a little bit more. Don't make yourself so one-dimensional. But I think this is a game that it actually plays to their strength, and it's what they have to do to be successful. Yeah.
You gotta run it though. You gotta make the attempts, even if you're not getting the yards. That's the only way you're gonna keep a defense honest.
I would
this
say
is not
this.
the run and shoot.
I would say this: if there was a situation where I thought you could run the ball somewhat well on Tampa, it's late in games. I don't think you can do it well against them early in football games.
Well, look, coming off both of those points, Dio and Key, something is going to give. All right, it's either going to be Tampa's defensive front dominating this game if they're going to drop back and try to push the ball downfield, or Josh Allen will have a good day based on what we've seen from this secondary. I've been talking about this all season long, and y'all know interior pressure. Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea can absolutely have a major impact on this game. Between both of them, they both had 2 sacks last week. It's going to be vitally important to get Josh Allen off his spot and then allow Shaq Barrett and JPP to close. But the 2 big fellas on the interior can have a game this week. Last week, we saw Devon Gottschalk do a phenomenal job against the run game. Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh are those type of players with the ability to pass rush and push the pocket directly in his lap. They got to get him off the spot, and then everybody else rally.
Yeah, you guys, there are so many big games with huge implications in Week 14. This is one of them that I think a lot of us will have our eyes on. We got a whole lot more coming your way on NFL Live. The Packers play the Bears again this week, and after Rodgers' "I own you" comment, what kind of pride will the Bears go into this game with? And Justin Fields playing in this one as well, coming off of injury. You're watching NFL Live, presented by Green Bay. What can you tell us?
Laura, a short time ago, the Packers head coach Matt LaFleur told reporters that Randall Cobb had suffered a significant core muscle injury during the Packers' last game against the Los Angeles Rams, and he's going to miss a period of time here, going to be out for a while. The Packers obviously will hope to have him back at some point, but he's going to miss some time, and that is the latest loss for the Packers offense.
Man, Packers and Bears on Sunday. Here's a reminder of what happened last time they played.
Rodgers takes, pump fakes once, scrambles to his right, buying time, takes it himself. He's to the 5 in the end zone for the touchdown. Aaron Rodgers just inside the pylon.
I love this rivalry.
That was Rodgers during the Packers' Week 6 win in Chicago. Rodgers and the Bears. Matt Nagy asked today if revenge would come into play in this week's matchup. Here's what they said.
Do you bring it up Saturday night? Do you use it as motivation at all?
I mean, we're aware of it. Well, that comment was to the fans who were giving me the bird. Trash talk is what it is. It's a professional environment. It's not really a personal environment for the most part. Usually after the game, it's all love and positivity. I'm sure a lot of times in situations like this, the trash talk is only able to be used if you're getting after that individual that was trash talking. So in order to trash talk, you have to have a lot of confidence in what you've accomplished and what you're going to accomplish in the future.
All love and positivity for the Bears defense, Marcus?
Listen, man, I grew up in some rough places, and when I used to get, when somebody would pick on me, my mama would look at me and be like, "What you gonna do?" My mama wasn't saying, "Let's go talk it out and see if we can come to some agreement." She would look at me and say, "What you gonna do?" So Chicago Bears players, what the hell you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Okay, let's go to Tampa, where Tom Brady addressed the media today in front of the matchup against the Bills. He talked about his tight end, Rob Gronkowski, who's been excellent of late.
So much about football is anticipating what the problems will be as opposed to trying to figure out how to solve the problem after the play. I think a lot of it's solving the problem before things happen, and Gronk he knows what I'm thinking, I know what he's thinking. We've just done it so long together, so it's really nice. It's a great luxury for 2 position players like that to play together for as long as we have.
Dan, saw something you liked from the Bucs offense last
week. A little bit of a kind of a youth type of play that we only see really in college football. It's 4-by-1, 3 receivers in the back to the right of Tom Brady, Mike Evans by himself up top, and they're really just saying our best receiver one-on-one. And if it's you like that matchup, we're going to take that slant. Brady is able to kind of peek over there and be like, this is perfect. And if you don't like it, let's say they're playing zone coverage or 2-over-1, they're going to have this front side screen that they can just kick it to Fournette. Brady does a great job. Okay, Mike wins. This is an easy one-on-one slant. It's 2nd and 7. If I didn't like that, I kick it to Fournette. I love it. That's a 21-yard gain strictly off a slant. I like that from Byron Leftwich in this offense. Just a little bit of youth aspect to it.
Let's stay in Florida, where after fumbling in the first quarter of Sunday's loss, James Robinson was held out for 20 plays by the Jags coaching staff. Trevor Lawrence made it clear he did not like that decision.
Bottom line is James is one of our best players, and he's got to be on the field, and we addressed it, and I feel like we're in a good spot, and the whole team we're good, whatever may have happened. I honestly don't even know everything that went into it. I'm playing the game and stuff happens on the sideline with coaching decisions. I don't really get into that, but I know, and I voice my opinion, James is one of our best players, and he's got to be in the game, and I think we're all on the same page, so there's no confusion there. So we're gonna move forward, but I know James is a hell of a player, so I want him out there.
Every time I see that, it shocks me. Okay, Key, what do you make of Lawrence calling out the coach's decision?
Well, I think, first of all, Laura, he's letting them know I am the number 1 pick. I will be here longer than you because I can play this game. But at the same time, I don't want to take this and turn this into the greatest thing ever for a quarterback to do. He knows that young man can help him win football games, and that is the way you're supposed to approach it. So hats off to him. But I know one thing, Urban Meyer's probably sitting back in the coaching staff and saying, you better play and you better get us to the playoffs at some point in time, or else he's going to have, go see the principal.
What do you think, Dan?
I think it's a big deal. I really do. I think when you're the number 1 pick, it's easy to coast in that situation. He's putting his neck on the line a little bit. He understands the best teams are player-run teams, and he's taking ownership of the situation. I'd also say this. James Robinson, his first lost fumble of his career was 2 weeks ago against Atlanta. He had 0 last year. We're benching him because it's his second one. So I appreciated the accountability and the ownership from Trevor.
Yeah, listen, and I understand what Key is saying, but I'm along the lines with Dan. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been through hell since he's been in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And now you're going to take a player off the field that can potentially help him win. I like him calling it out. I like the fact that he's taking ownership. But more importantly, we trying to win football games. I want the best players out there to try to help me win games. So whatever that needs to be, I need the voice that if I'm going to be the guy to lead this franchise.
Doesn't it seems like a situation where player gets it, coach doesn't.
Yeah, I thought it was so telling when he said, I'm out there trying to play in the game. I don't know what's going on the sidelines. He's thinking, where under the sun is my running back? Yeah. All right, coming up next, we got a lot more to get to here on NFL Live. Rams offense was stellar last week. In Swagoo terms, they ran the dang ball and good things happened. Or what did he say? They toted the note. Can you make it like that? All right, stick around to find out how they executed it so well. NFL Live is presented by Windows 11 and Intel. Brings you closer to what you love.